30 years ago today in the US, The Legend of Zelda was released for the NES. It's one of the most important games ever released and influenced every adventure game that came after it. Today on SideQuest, I want to talk a bit about how it made a huge impact on me and how special of a game it really is. At the time, I was a junior high school kid and primed and ready to be wowed by this type of game. We had read about it briefly in the Nintendo Fun Club news, and surely it was extra hype by TV commercials. By the time I got the game and I opened it up and seen the cart was gold, I was mesmerized. Everything right down to the packaging instantly felt special. Even a game that included a map was something new to me. This was totally awesome even before I started the game up. And of course, the battery game save feature was like some mystical dark magic trickery that I couldn't believe was happening. So then the opening game screen. The first time we hear one of the most recognized songs from any game and a whimsical title page with a soothing waterfall, darkening sky, and Zelda logo. After that, the game pre-prepared me and upped the excitement by telling me about the Triforce with power and the Triforce with wisdom and how Zelda split it into 8 parts, and all the awesome weapons and items I could look forward to. My pre-excitement was boiling over. And I remember starting the game and that first cave where you get your sword is just calling you in. I mean, there's 4 directions you can choose from on the first screen, but I feel like most people, including myself, are instantly drawn to that cave as they should be, because the game has perfect game design. And perfect game design is a running theme through the entire game. It was perfectly paced and meticulously thought out, and it felt so grand and huge. I always seemed to find a dungeon or an item right at the right time before I reach utter frustration point, and everything just kind of flowed in a nice way. I played Zelda a bunch with my childhood friend Casey. One of the great things is it was totally social for us. We would chat about theories on where to go next, or try to rethink different ways to use an obtained item or weapon to progress the game, or even staring at the screen lost in retrospect seemed like such a great time. Of course, back then, no internet, and our moms would kick our asses if we called one of them pay-by-the-minute hotlines. After a long day of Zelda, hours later at night, I might get a call from Casey and he would tell me about an item he found or a new dungeon or whatever. I couldn't freaking wait till the next day to get to his house to check it out. I would literally lose sleep over the excitement I felt. I for real would go to sleep thinking about Zelda and wake up in the morning still thinking about it. Yeah, so the impact was real, and I had no idea that this was turning into a lifelong fascination. I remember my wife once watching me play a Zelda game, and she asked me how I knew how to instantly solve puzzles in the game, and I told her I'd been trained since I was a kid. And that's something I love about Zelda games, is you instantly just know how to pull a lever, or where to put a bomb, or what to shoot with an arrow. Each game is like training for the next, so you can zip around and weave into a new adventure instantly. And for the past 30 years, I seriously have never played a Zelda game that I didn't love. I don't know what Zelda games people dislike, Spirit Tracks maybe. I even loved that. Thought it was great. I remember when Wind Waker was coming out and there was lots of outcry about the cell shading, and the game was amazing, so it just shut everyone up. So it's like, knock on wood, it's nice to know you don't have to worry about the franchise failing you, and that's a really nice feeling. And we all know Zelda games are still to this day innovating and pushing boundaries. Breath of the Wild is almost unanimously acclaimed and loved. I don't think I've ever gone a day in my life since this day 30 years ago that I don't think about Zelda in some fashion once or even multiple times a day. And after playing this first game when I was a kid, I could have never guessed how massive and intertwined in our society Zelda would become. And I never thought in a million years I would someday have kids who also love Zelda as much as me, and we could bond over it just like me and my friend did when we were kids. It's totally special, and I think it will live on past me and maybe forever. So I would love to hear about some of your early Zelda memories in the comments. What was the first Zelda game you played? What kind of impact it made? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on SideQuest.